Hello everyone and welcome back to the Phyrexian Arena. Today, I'll be talking about 5 of the most powerful and unique legendary creatures in Modern Horizons 3. This will be focused specifically around cards that can be used as commanders. This review will not include anything from the commander pre-constructed decks in any ways. I would like to focus on the main set. We here at the Phyrexian Arena also did not want to focus on power level, as that's overdone. This list is mostly focused around the unique and niche cards that this set has to offer. Let's get right into it. First legend we'll be talking about is Six. Six is a 2/4 green tree folk that costs 2 and a green mana. The card reads, Reach. Whenever Six attacks, mill 3 cards. You may put a land card from among them into your hand. As long as it's your turn, non-land permanents in your graveyard have Retrace. This card is everything that the color green in Magic wants to be. It wants to be aggressive, and in doing so, gain value in the form of mill. If you're unfamiliar what mill is, essentially, milling means to put the top card of your library into your graveyard. Now, that might seem like a negative thing, but if we read the card, we can see that as long as it's your turn, non-land cards in your graveyard have Retrace. Retrace is a keyword that means that the card can be casted from your graveyard as long as you pay the mana cost and discard a land from your hand. These two abilities stack incredibly well. Not only that, but discarding land cards does not mean much to green, due to all of the ways that green is able to bring back lands from the graveyard. Our next card is Genku, Future Shaper, an awesome Azorius commander, which is blue and white, that for the first time in a while is not focused around specifically the control playstyle. Genku is a 4 mana 2/5 with the cost of 2, a blue, and a white. Genku's ability reads, whenever another non-token permanent you control leaves the battlefield, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Create a token with those characteristics. Either a 2/2 white fox with vigilance, a 1/2 blue moonfolk with flying, or a 1/1 black rat with lifelink. In addition, Genku can also buff his entire board with +1/+1 counters by paying 5 mana, or 3 generic, a white, and a blue mana. This ability is incredibly powerful. At face value, this card seems like it just wants to remove cards from your board and recur them from your graveyard. But actually, what this card wants to do is something called blinking permanents on its board. Blinking is essentially exiling a card from your board and then bring it immediately right back. In doing so, the goal is to create a huge board of tokens and powerful enter the battlefield effects, and then buff them with Genku's other ability. Our third card is Roshin, Roaring Prophet, a 4/4 for 2 red and green that reads, when Roshin, Roaring Prophet enters the battlefield, mill 6 cards. You may put a card with X in its mana cost among them into your hand. In addition, you can also tap Roshin and reveal any number of cards with an X in their mana cost and add 2 generic mana for each card revealed this way. The catch is that you can only spend this generic mana to cast cards that contain an X in them. I could see a situation where you could cast a Comet Storm or a Steelbane Hydra for like 17 mana, and essentially just win the game there. Next up is a deck that I personally am going to build. Shilgengar, Sire of Famine. Shilgengar is a 3 generic mana and 2 black mana, 6/6 flyer that has the text, sacrifice another creature, create a blood token. If you sacrifice an angel this way, create a number of blood tokens equal to its toughness instead. And then, you may pay 3 hybrid Orjong to sacrifice 6 blood tokens and return each creature from your graveyard to the battlefield with finality counter. Those creatures are vampires in addition to their other types. A finality counter essentially means that if this creature were to die, instead of going to the graveyard, it goes to exile. This ability is incredibly strong. A classic strategy called Aristocrats, which is basically a strategy that allows the user to sacrifice their own permanents for gain, whether that be damage, value, or anything in between. This deck can also utilize some tribal strategies that make it very explosive and give it incredibly powerful turns. Angels and vampires are two of the most powerful and prominent creature types in Magic. This card supports both of those, making this card incredibly powerful, as well as very unique. Last but certainly not least is Arna Kennerud, Sky Captain. Arna is a 4/4 flying lifelinker that costs 2 generic mana, a white, a blue, and a black. Now, a 4/4 flying lifelinker is already powerful, but Arna also has the ability Ward. Ward essentially means that in order for an enemy to target this creature, they have to do something. In Arna's case, that is discard a card from their hand, giving you card advantage without even doing anything. As if that wasn't enough, on top of all of that, Arna also has the text, whenever a modified creature you control attacks, double the number of each kind of counter on it. Then, for each non-token permanent attached to it, create a token copy of that permanent attached to that creature. Now, what's a modified creature? Essentially, a modified creature is any creature that has either a piece of equipment or an enchantment attached to it, as well as a counter attached to it, whether that be a +1/+1 counter or a -1/-1 counter, anything like that. This card essentially duplicates the number of whatever it is on that card. In Magic, duplicating any sort of value or damage or anything like that is incredibly powerful. And where this is unique is that it doesn't just duplicate anything on the card, it duplicates the counters and the equipment and the enchantments that are attached to the card. This is the first time that Wizards of the Coast has made a card that wants to help Voltron, which is basically putting a bunch of stuff onto one creature, get its ability duplicated. And it's incredibly powerful. Thanks everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. If this was helpful, do the same, please. And expect more videos like this, as well as some podcast sort of type of videos. Anyways, thank you all for watching once again, and I'll see you in the next one.